The parents of two people who were killed fighting for the Kurds in Syria have written to the government to try to help bring their bodies home. This is Önnu Campbell, a 26-year-old from Sussex, who went to Syria last summer to fight with the women-only unit, the YPJ. She was killed in March this year in the town of Afrin, near the Turkish border. This is Hauks Hilmarssonar, a 31-year-old Icelandic activist that travelled to Syria to fight with the International Freedom Battalion of the YPG group in 2017. In February this year, the group told his mother, Eva, that he'd been killed in a Turkish airstrike. Since then, both parents have been unable to have their children's bodies repatriated. We'll talk to them both in a moment. Earlier this year, Önnu Campbell's family shared some footage with us and spoke to us shortly after her death.
My name is Helene Karaçok. My name from before was Önnu Campbell. I joined the YPG in March of last year, and now we've just finished this education of ideology and military.
She was kind of an interesting person. She was the kind of person that she wouldn't tiptoe around, being English and polite, and she was just very grounded in what she wanted.
She stole a chicken from one of the nearby houses, got a friend to kill it, and then now we're going to have meat. So I joined because I wanted to support the revolution, and because I wanted to participate in the revolution of women that is being built up here.
At that moment, the bottom fell out of my world because I knew she was dead. We're going through the whole gamut of despair, grief, anger, loss, guilt in my case. As I say, I know that she would never have forgiven me if I'd stopped her from going. But I feel like I could have done more to raise awareness of what was going on.
That was Anna's father, Dirk Campbell, who is here now, as you can see. And in Glasgow is Evu Hauksdóttur, whose son, Haukur, also died fighting with a Kurdish group in Syria. Thank you both very much for talking to us. Dirk Campbell, just explain to our audience what the problem is with bringing your daughter's body home.
The governments of the world are doing nothing to pressurise Turkey into observing its obligations under the Geneva Convention, which means that the bodies of those who have fallen, not only Eva's and my children, but also hundreds, thousands of other people, combatants and civilians, are lying in the streets. In the canton of Afrin, they've been there for 4 months. They are rotting. They are being eaten by dogs and wild animals. It is a scandalous outrage. It is literally unbelievable that they are deliberately doing that. Our children, we aren't going to get them back, obviously, but the least that we hope for is that we could have their bodies back. And in some cases, because there are no witnesses to the death of an individual, the families don't even know if they're dead or not. And the Red Cross isn't being allowed in. The Turkish army won't allow them in, the International Red Cross. I'm going
to bring in Evu, if I may, on that point, about whether, in fact, your son is dead, Evu. Do you know for sure?
No, we don't know for sure. There are no evidence. There were no eyewitnesses, and obviously we don't have the body, so we don't know for sure. Since such long time has passed, I think he's dead, but some of our friends and family still believe that he may be alive, and this is just a very strange situation when you cannot even mourn properly. So. Yeah.
The Icelandic government tell us that your son's case has been, quote, a top priority for them. They have, it would seem, they have done a lot through diplomatic channels. They've contacted the Turkish foreign minister to try and raise the issue. Turkish authorities said we'll do everything in our power to find him. Also, the Icelandic Prime Minister raised this with Angela Merkel of Germany, seeking the assistance of them. But they say no information has been obtained about what happened to your son.
Well, I think they really want to help us. And of course, this is not only about that, it's also about breaches of international law. And I think that should be addressed. But I have also asked them to, first to contact the Turkish media that said that the Turks had Haukur's body and they were going to repatriate it.
Okay.
And they refused to contact this media and ask them where they got this news from. And also now I want them to contact the Turkish authorities and confront them about this. Why are the bodies still lying there? And I think diplomatic channels are maybe not the best way to do that. They tell us that the Turkish police advised them only to use diplomatic channels, and I really don't think that the Turkish police is the best. I mean, the best people to get advice from in this case.
Mr. Campbell, I mean, I don't know what you think the British government is doing. They say to us, Foreign Office, as we have no consular presence in Syria, our ability to help is extremely limited, and they go on to remind people not to travel to Syria. It's against their advice. They're putting themselves at considerable risk.
They have a consular presence in Turkey. They could do a lot more.
What are you calling on them to do?
I want our government, I don't know about other governments, Icelandic government, I don't know what they've been doing, but I know that our government has been doing virtually nothing. I know that the Foreign and Commonwealth Office said that they would exert pressure on the Turkish government. I haven't heard anything for 2 months since Anna's death was reported. What I want them to do, and Erdogan, the Prime Minister of Turkey, has been received in London with a red carpet, despite the fact that these atrocities are going on. You know, desecration of dead bodies, people being dragged around, dead bodies being dragged around on ropes at the back of trucks, women fighters being raped, killed, and their bodies being cut up. You can see all this on the internet, but our government is turning a blind eye to all this, and I want them to be held to account for what they're doing, and also for the general picture. There is a genocide going on in Syria. The Kurds have been on the receiving end of horrendous, outrageous treatment by all the various groups in that area, and now the Turks, which are armed by the British government, but they're armed by the British weapons industry. And my daughter and Haukur were probably killed by British missiles. So our arms industry is continuing to supply and equip armies of repression and genocide in the Middle East, and it's wrong.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. Thank you. Dirk Campbell. Thank you, Evu Hauksdóttur. Thank you very much. We will see what happens and continue to report on your mission. Thank you.